Okay, here we are in the home stretch. This is Design 330. We're at week 15. This is the last week where you will be creating new work in the Revit model. We're going to be working on lighting. We don't really have design resources for this week, but I might add some in there later on. Keep an eye out for it. I'll send an announcement if we do. But let's take a look and see what the assignment is all about as an overview. So here are our goals for the week, and that's to create a lighting plan for the commercial build out. So this will be, it's really about power. Lighting is usually fine tuned as the design progresses, depending on what the floor is like, the ceiling is like, the walls are like, what's in there. Lighting is a complex issue, and interior architects often do it, but we can make sure that we've provided for the power by placing lighting fixtures in places where they ought to be and getting a close estimate of how much power will be used. So we're going to create a lighting plan, and just remember that this is a preliminary plan and that a lot of work goes into the lighting later on and a lot of details in picking the right fixtures and the right types of bulbs and the right height and the right spacing and the right controls. So that's all part of what gets done, and lighting analysis is a big deal if you do end up working for a company that's in that realm, and you will get trained by them. But what we're going to do is we're going to place two different types of fixtures, which are really common. Pendant, those are the ones that just hang down on long rods from the ceiling. We're going to be using long, thin ones. So there's two rods that will come way up high from the roof and put them at the right level. And we'll choose like a fluorescent or LED style. And then troffer lights are the ones that they're recessed, right? You have your ceiling and they're recessed up in it, and they usually have a piece of plastic over it, something like that. So that's a troffer light, and you can look those up on the web just to see what they look like and how they do. So we're going to place those, and then of course we need to create our lighting circuits. So again, we're really talking about the power. We are not going to do the switch circuits. Revit is a little bit weak on switch circuits, and I think most architects will just draw the lines in. Where do they want the switches and what type of switch, and just let the electrician go from there. Revit really, they're trying. They're doing a little more than they used to, but their switch systems really don't work well as systems unless you really get down into the details, and then your electricians will ignore you anyway. So we're going to create lighting circuits that are the power. Where does the power come from? And we're not going to worry about how many switch on and off at once on this switch or that switch. And then of course finally we'll create some documentation sheets, plans, schedules, and details. So let's take a look. This is a typical one of what you're going to look at. And so these ones are the pendant lights, and these ones are the troffer lights. I have made some sections. I like to do that just so that I have an idea. So you see the pendant lights hook somewhere up, and I just show it on the roof. It doesn't really hook to the roof. There are beams and structures and joists and things up there that it would probably hook to. But it's convenient for us to hook it to the roof and then come down. And so this is at about 9 feet, I think. I think I put these at 9 feet from, might be at 8 feet high. But they would be, enough so that people could get around underneath there. If there's forklifts, they have to be higher. That's why it's so complex to do all of this work. But I just like to see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like in the lobby coming off the ceiling. And then this is what it looks like where you've got those recessed troffer boxes that are hooked up to whatever your ceiling system is. And they're at about the same height. They're about 8 feet. So very typically done that way, just so that you can see how they look. And so then they're shown in two different ways. This way shows the the circuit and shows what circuit they go to on the panel over here. And that's a common way. You will often see that. Sometimes you see them from the switch themselves also. There will be a switch that you'll actually show a line going over to the switch, but we're ignoring those. And then the other way is much like what we did on the power circuits, where they're just all in here and they're grouped up and says that's all on one. And then for these ones, I didn't actually tag these. I should tag the troffers. Let me do that before I go to go. Okay, plain recessed light fixture, and says what circuit it's on. So that's kind of cool. And then this is often done where you show that, okay, that wiring goes off to admin 1, circuit 11, and you go all the way through to the end, and that's where they'll loop over. So this is what you're going to do for each of these. Okay, you'll need to do it for all three as you've done before. Oh, there it is. Found it. Now I haven't done it in my example, but then here's where you have your power systems, and look. Ooh, remember this now. These are showing up. Darn. This is one of those things you have to be careful of. Things show up when you put it in a new one. So I'm going to have to go back to those and clean those up. Let me show you that right now. That's in your power, admin 1, power distribution panels. There they are. So I have to come back here and make sure that my lighting fixtures are not showing up. So I do that in my visibility and graphics. Come down in their lighting fixtures, lighting devices, and lighting fixtures. And then those are gone, and that cleans it up. So you have to be careful that you're doing these things. So look, here I've got a section view that I don't want to see. So be careful that you check all of your other views once you're done to make sure that you haven't messed it up somehow when you do new work up in your lighting ones. Okay, so there we go. That's our overview. Oh, and again, you're gonna also be looking at let's look at it. E101 is my lighting plan. You'll have 3 here. Your power is already shown on another one, and your schedules now show a neat thing. They've got lighting and dwelling units now, as well as receptacles and the junction boxes. So this is kind of nice. You might need, again, on these ones to be able to open them out so that they're all on one line, and that means I probably want to do the same thing there. So similar. You want to line these up as closely as you can. So there we go. And then, of course, this sheet will be filled up with details already from last week. And so you might need a brand new sheet to add your next set of details. So there we go. That's going to finish up our electrical set for this week. And we'll finish it up with the lighting.